Hi guys, I'm back again today with another video, and today we're checking out the story of London, Britain's mega city. So yesterday we checked out what was it exactly? The why it's the capital of the world, and now we're going to see the story. I don't know what exactly it will entail because I feel like yesterday's video gave us a lot already. But before we do start, don't forget to subscribe, click the bell button, and let's begin.
The world's largest city, until 1925, is now a mature, well-planned metropolis with a population of 13.7 million. It's a highly admired place and is consistently ranked as a top 3 most visited destination on the planet, making its airspace the busiest on Earth. As the largest urban economy in Europe, with the greatest concentration of top-class universities, it has hosted the Summer Olympics a record 3 times. It has something for everyone, whether you're after luxury, the world's most 5-star hotels, nature, the world's largest urban forest in a city with more than 40% green space, sports, the world's highest total stadium capacity, or entertainment, the world's biggest theater audience. But while the high life continues for many, this city has seen its share of tough times. This is London, the Empire City. Londinium was founded in 43 AD along the River Thames as a gateway for goods and people entering Britannia from every corner of the Roman Empire. A walled city covering roughly 1.5 square kilometers, Roman London reached a population of 60,000 in the 2nd century. But the empire soon came under severe crisis, and by the 4th century, Londinium was completely abandoned. After 700 years, what was now called London had recovered to become the largest town in England. The construction of Westminster Abbey in the 11th century ensured its place as the heart of the country. Since then, the Abbey has hosted every coronation of an English or British monarch. Its most recent royal wedding was Prince William to Catherine Middleton, and last month, the state funeral of Elizabeth II took place at the Abbey. Sitting alongside is the Palace of Westminster, home to the government of the United Kingdom with its 2 houses of Parliament. Westminster lies just southwest of the City of London, a ceremonial district that covers a bit more than a square mile. It constituted most of settled London through the Middle Ages and is today one of the world's most important financial centers. The Royal Exchange, seen here with work being done to its facade, was the center of London commerce. Originally opened by Queen Elizabeth I, royal heralds still shout the news of historic events from its steps, like the dissolution of Parliament and the start of a new monarch's reign.
3 cheers for His Majesty the King. Hip hip, hooray!
Just outside the city's borders is the Tower of London. Originally a castle built by King William the Conqueror, it has served as a grand royal palace, a prison, a treasury, a menagerie, the Royal Mint, a public record office, and the home of the crown jewels of England. In the 1660s, it was an armory, during the most destructive event in London's history. Still reeling from the Great Plague that year that had killed 100,000 people, nearly a quarter of its population, Londoners awoke on the morning of September 2nd, 1666, to high winds and smoke. Over 4 days, most of the medieval city was destroyed by a raging fire. The Tower of London garrison used gunpowder to create effective fire breaks that stopped the fire's spread to the east. Although there's never been an official death
That
toll,
is all
several thousand
what,
were
though?
likely killed, and thousands of buildings were reduced to ash, including over 13,000 homes, 90 churches, and St. Paul's Cathedral. In the aftermath, many architects submitted plans reimagining grand boulevards along a grid system that would become popular in urban America. But the businessmen of the city were eager to rebuild and mostly stuck to the old street plan, although they widened some streets and built with brick and stone rather than flammable wood. Even without an extensive redesign, the cost of the rebuild forced the City of London Corporation into default and forced thousands of its newly homeless residents to resettle in the countryside, with a little push from King Charles II, who feared they might revolt. So how did London survive a devastating plague and fire in the same year? The simplest explanation is that the culture of the city at this time was historically dynamic, cultivating ingenuity in every aspect of society. London's population had recently exploded leading up to the Great Plague and Fire, growing from 50,000 to 500,000. As the main port in the North Sea, its ships were taking full advantage of new trading opportunities in the Americas and Asia. And one new commodity they brought back gave Londoners a huge jolt: coffee. The foreign brew was served in houses that became meeting places to catch up on and debate the news of the day. Soon, houses catered to particular trades like craftsmen, writers, and explorers. The free exchange of ideas they encouraged gave rise to the UK's National Academy of Sciences, whose members included the coffeehouse-addicted Robert Hooke, the great Isaac Newton, chemist Robert Boyle, philosopher John Locke, and prolific architect Christopher Wren. Coffeehouse culture also fueled the world's first great capitalist economy. Edward Lloyd's house specialized in obtaining the most reliable shipping news. A waiter there would read out the latest bulletins, then pin them to a wall, attracting long-distance traders eager to make deals on site. Today, Lloyd's has evolved into the world's main insurance market, an unseen but vital engine in the globalized economy, where brokers and underwriters can still meet face-to-face to form the trust necessary to close deals that are too risky or unique for any other market. This culture also established in 1694 the Bank of England, creating a publicly financed national debt, an innovation that positioned Britain as a global superpower and its capital as the world's most important city of the 1700s. London's wealth allowed it to finance the most powerful navy the world had ever seen. The memorial column at Trafalgar Square commemorates the victory that cemented Britain's superiority on the high seas. The battle saw an outnumbered Admiral Horatio Nelson bravely sacrifice his life while leading his warships into the heart of the combined Spanish and French fleets, decimating them without losing a single British vessel. The victory ended any hope European conquerors like Napoleon had for invading Britain by sea, and set the stage for a peacetime boom. Propelled by inventions like the electric motor by London's Michael Faraday, the Industrial Revolution brought rapid urbanization and growth, and by 1831, London was the largest city in the world. It was also filthy. The Thames was an open sewer.
I feel like we did go through this yesterday, but this is kind of like a summary because it's a shorter version. So I feel like it's a summary because all this stuff we already know, but it's good. Maybe there's some informations that we're gonna like we didn't get from yesterday that we're gonna hear for today. What am I talking about?
Capturing the waste of 3 million people. The stink and cholera it produced was unbearable. Chief Civil Engineer Joseph Bazalgette was put in charge of creating a modern sewer system, an innovative megaproject involving hundreds of miles of brick and cement tunnels combined with several pumping stations to move the sewage a few miles downriver and release it safely away from London. Another engineering marvel at this time was the underground. Through trial and error over 20 grueling years, project mastermind John Fowler's team perfected the technique of cut and cover, completing the Metropolitan line in 1863. It was both the world's first subterranean and rapid railway system. Today, it is the third longest metro system on Earth, and is still growing. The £19 billion Elizabeth line was inaugurated this May, completing a phase that was the biggest construction project in all of Europe. The quality of transportation available to Londoners, including their roads and stagecoach service, allowed them to settle and commute farther from the city center. With the population passing 6 million in the 1800s, middle-class workers were looking for homes with a modest garden. So developers built sprawling tracts in the outskirts, including the Beacon Tree Estate in Dagenham. With more than 25,000 semi-detached dwellings, it was the largest housing development in the world. It seems suburbia began in Britain, foreshadowing the sprawl that was to come to places like Los Angeles. As London swallowed up more and more of the surrounding countryside, authorities contained it by reserving wide swaths of land for a green belt 7 to 10 miles deep around its built-up area. This
That's actually
so-called
smart.
girdle could only be left wild, turned into parks, or used for agriculture, an idea sold to Londoners as guaranteeing their access to recreation. The citizens of Britain's other cities wanted access to clean air and nature too, and soon were adopting green belts of their own. In 1941, after Hitler's Air Force bombed London for 8 months, killing more than 30,000, many buildings were destroyed. However, with the green belt restricting development, the cost of the land available to build on rose, a trend that has continued until today, when 70% of the cost of a new building is now the purchase of the land, compared to just 25% in the 1950s. This has contributed to a severe shortage of affordable housing, and sparked a much-needed conversation about how to more wisely use London's precious public lands in ways that actually benefit the general public. Another post-war development was an increase in immigration to London from the British Commonwealth countries of India, Jamaica, and Pakistan. Today, more than 4 million Londoners are foreign-born, the fourth largest immigrant community in the world after New York, LA, and Paris. But drawing so many new arrivals has contributed to London's housing crunch, and the megacity now has the highest real estate prices in Europe. So developers try to stack more square footage on each plot of land, making buildings taller and changing London's notoriously low-slung skyline. The financial districts are home to most of the 103 buildings taller than 100 meters, the second most skyscrapers in Europe, behind Moscow. As a picturesque riverine city with layers of historic architecture, gorgeous greenscapes, an economy that hums along as the capital of one of the world's most stable democracies, it's no wonder why people and their money are drawn to London. However, the twin challenges of assimilating millions of foreigners and adapting to the rising cost of living, especially for those outside the capital, helped sway a majority of British voters to leave the European Union in the summer of 2016.
Good idea.
A decision that continues to challenge the churn of occupants at 10 Downing Street, the Prime Minister's residence. Just across from St. James Park is Buckingham Palace, official residence of the head of state of the United Kingdom, the newly crowned King Charles III. While both Brexit and the role of a monarch in a modern society pose internal political challenges for the entire country, London is also grappling with the wicked problem facing the entire world: climate change. During the record heat wave this July that saw temperatures reach 40.2 Celsius or 104.4 Fahrenheit at Heathrow Airport, numerous parts of London were again ablaze. To the east, the steadily rising sea presents an enormous flood risk to an estimated £200 billion worth of property along the Thames, a tidal river. To protect the city, an impressive 520-meter retractable barrier was built in 1984, a structure the Environmental Agency believes should last, with slight modifications, until 2070, a testament to the foresight of its design and engineering team. Water also presents another challenge. While London is sometimes perceived as consistently socked in by fog and gray skies, it actually receives just half the rainfall of New York City, despite a significantly more northern latitude. It even gets less rain than the fairly dry cities of Rome, Lisbon, and Sydney. The problem is that the western
And then everybody's complaining about how it's always raining. What?
half of southern England catches most of the rain systems from the Atlantic, receiving about 4 times the precipitation as the eastern half. As things continue to get drier and more unpredictable, hydrologists warn that London, on the eastern, dry side, may begin having water supply problems by 2050. So a debate is ongoing about whether to submerge a swath of Oxfordshire on the Thames to create a reservoir to store water for the megacity. But although London faces a few challenges from forces beyond its control, solving them seems relatively straightforward. And looking ahead, London's position, well away from the coast, on a temperate island with no active volcanoes, is one of the most advantageous locations for any major city in history, which should allow it to continue as a top global city well into the 2100s. If you enjoyed this episode, check out my look at Jakarta, Indonesia's megacity.
That's one thing I like about London is they don't have you guys don't have like earthquakes, typhoons, and all that scary shenanigans. Like sometimes I'll be sitting here and then the place is like shaking left, right, and center. Or during our monsoon season, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Actually, it can happen anytime nowadays. The weather is unpredictable, so it could typhoon today, then for the next 3 months it's sunny and beautiful, and then it could typhoon again afterwards. Like it's crazy. But our rainy season is usually June, July, August, and sometimes September. So you guys don't have to deal with that. Scary. I hate those seasons. I love the rain, but I hate typhoons because the wind is so heavy, it's so strong, and you hear a lot of things flying, and there's a lot of landslides, flooding. It's just a whole thing. So, landing is like perfect, to be honest. But well, thank you guys for joining me. If you have any additional information that you want me to know about London, let me know down in the comments, and I will see you in our next video. Bye.